So guys, it is finally here, my H2D from Bambu Lab. And this is probably a kind of end game 3D printer for me. And I ordered this last week, so it arrived within a week. However, during that time frame of me anxiously waiting, I also ordered a Bambu Lab P1S. And interestingly, I got that P1S from Microcenter because I was in the shop, physically shopping around, looking at 3D printers, and they just happened to have a P1S as refurbished model, selling for only $339. Insanely good price for the P1S. And if you're interested, definitely check out the video in the screen down there. Click it, look at my unboxing experience, and also this video I'm making right now is going to be for folks that had zero 3D printing experience, looking at the option of the first 3D printer from Bambu Lab offerings, whether they should go to H2D directly or they should just buy a P1S or even an A1 and be really happy with it. Okay, so this video is not advanced, setup and stage, advanced printing technique kind of a video. This is just the unboxing and personal experience video for first-time 3D printer owners. Now, I'm not first time anymore. This is my second 3D printer within a week. But in this part of the video, I am going to just open up the package, take a look at the contents. And this one is the AMS combo with the AMS HT, which again, the other part of all my accessories is still to come next week. So I can unbox the printer, but I probably won't be able to use it until the next video where I get all my accessories and have the printer properly set up and ready to go, and also try out all the filaments that I ordered with it. If you do not have this kind of budget and you still want a quality print, P1S is a fantastic option, especially at this moment. This is November of 2025. Every 3D printer manufacturers right now is running their Thanksgiving deals, including Bambu. They priced the P1S really aggressively at this point. So grab it while you can, because despite the P2S being released and supposedly to be available on November 1st, it is not. It's still gonna be at least 1 to 2 months away. Should you wait for P2S? In my opinion, first-time 3D printer owner, don't, because the P2S is going to be rather expensive, starting at $799 with the the tax wars between the US and China. And again, I'm based in the United States, so everything is going to be US based pricing. The P1S is readily available, and Bambu Labs is discounting this significantly. If you have limited budget, get the P1S, and if you need multicolor printing, get the P1S with AMS HT Pro, because that package is only $50 more expensive at this stage compared to the AMS Generation 1 package with the P1S. So P1S with AMS Pro is $600. P1S itself is only $399. And if you need to print anything serious, this is a great start. You don't have to wait for P2S. If you really need to print something huge, again, only something huge, the H2D is going to be able to handle that, okay? If you don't need to print anything big, for example, this kind of little fun things that you can print for your kids, for your cats. By the way, my cat loves this. Printing place really cool little toys for either your kids or your cats. Benchy, this is my very first print, by the way. 3 days ago, printed this as my very first 3D print, and it came out great. Again, check out my unboxing video for P1S for more details. The P1S is going to be able to do all of those, and you don't need a gigantic printer like this, right? This is only for something that's huge, that you going to be printing. Also this, okay, so this is a Lego block, and the interesting thing is I designed this in Fusion. Okay, so this is not a click and print model. I tried myself 3D modeling in Fusion, and once I finished, I put this in Bambu Studio, changed some settings for the printing options, and printed this out. The precision of the P1S is already fantastic because this thing is so precise, okay? And well, it's kind of hard to hold. Look at that. So precise. It fits perfectly right out of the box. And so if you are someone that you need a serious machine to prototype, to print your 3D models that you design on, P1S is a great option. You don't have to go to H2D. I want to make this very, very clear that H2D is not by any means a significantly better printer compared to P1S, okay? It's just larger, well constructed, and again, aimed for commercial users who probably have the budget or business expense to spend when they need a larger printer. But again, you don't really need H2D as your first 3D printer. I was already super happy that I can print this thing, which is, by the way, Nikon F100 battery holder. This battery holder is what prompted me into 3D printing because I was frustrated that this discontinued battery holder is selling for $130. Okay, people are ripping people off selling discontinued stuff. So I'm like, okay, I gotta go buy a printer. But obviously my aim was wrong without ever trying a 3D printer. So I ordered H2D, and at this moment I probably have a little bit of the regret spending 8 times more money getting the H2D package compared to the P1S that I got like used in Micro Center and already super happy about. So don't be like me, listen to my story, and now we can go ahead and get H2D unboxed. All right, so, and again, by the way, you don't need a H2D to print this, okay? Even the A1 Mini that's like $200 is able to print this very precisely and confidently. All right, okay. So my house is rather small, so I am unboxing this in my living room. By the way, this thing is 3 times, almost 4 times as heavy as the P1S. And for no apparent reasons, probably better build quality maybe, the printing area is just slightly bigger, 50 millimeters more bigger, but the weight is significantly increased. So just keep that in mind. All right, guys, so the prep work is done. Took everything out of the box, including the AMS, which was stuck in there, secured by 6 screws with a securing bracket. So quite a lot of stuff to remove. Took me about 15 minutes to get all the screws unlocked so all the parts could be moved freely and you could turn the power on to have the automatic calibration work starts to run. But at least at this stage, I could show you guys what the disassembled or reassembled unit looks like. And one immediate improvement compared to the P1S, okay, that's something that I really like, is the ability to really open this door all the way and not have to jam the plastic parts on the left edge. I love this design, and again, I guess for professionals, this is absolutely required, but I don't know why in P1S, it could be easily implemented, but they chose not to do that, okay? So this is quite nice. The PLA board, exact same mounting method as the P1S, and I really love the way they implement this board. So when I slide it in, it's already beautifully aligned and ready to go. Love it. I don't anticipate this to go wrong in any way because it was incredibly simple to set up for the P1S. And for this unit, I'm gonna assume and expect the same thing. Accessory box is right here. Not a lot of stuff containing accessory box. Namely, you have this accessory, like accessory tray where it was put in here. Now immediately I could probably just make a new box, print a new box and put everything in there with the tray in place. So I don't have to waste any materials. Or alternatively, if you are lazy, you could just keep everything in the paper box, but I'm gonna recycle those paper anyway. And another thing that's included in the accessory box is this little kind of flimsy single spool stand. So the single spool stand have a little mounting area over here. You just put it on behind on the left end and it's gonna sit right there. The cool thing is there's a little like ball head thing for you to actually put your strings in so it can guide it properly, which is kind of nice. Other accessories included, you have some desiccant packages. This comes inside the AMS. You have this power cable for both the machine and the AMS. The AMS is going to be powered by the 6-pin. Keep in mind, AMS, if you need to use the drawing function, you could do that with one AMS with the machine powering the entire unit. So the 6-pin that they included is going to also provide power for drawing purpose if you have only just one AMS. The other one is your main power cable, which we're going to plug once we have it secured. And for the AMS, they also give you some PTFE tubes in case you need to do any maintenance service on the AMS. Now for the machine itself, they give you 4 of those PTFE tubes that's pre-cut. I don't know what those are for. Maybe it's for AMS. But yeah, so you got some pre-cut PTFE tubes. You got some uncut PTFE tubes. And there are some more unopened desiccant packages in there in case you need to use them to dry your filament. And again, the most important part that I learned for the last 3 days using P1S is your filament has to be very, very dry for them to print properly, even for PLA, okay? So the first day I got my PLA, I was printing right out of the box, no issues. By the second day, some stringing started to happen. On the third day, there were a lot of stringing. So I know I need to put that PLA into the drying box, have it dried properly before I can use it to reprint to ensure there are no troubles with printing. So AMS unit definitely helps. Get the AMS Pro if you can, because the Pro makes service a lot easier. And that's pretty much there is to the H2D. And again, if you have P1S, the H2D is gonna feel incredibly similar. The only thing different is just looking at the internal components, it is a high-end unit. They designed this to be premium, to be high-end, to cost 8 times more as expensive as a P1S, okay? But is it 8 times more performance? I would tell you definitely not. The P1S is probably, I would say, 85 to 90% of the H2D. And that 15 to 10% is going to be the difference between the larger area, the better build quality, and also the ability to print 2 materials at the same time for your printing material and your support material. That's gonna be a significant importance for me if I'm printing a lot of stuff that requires a lot of support. As you know, using 2 materials is gonna make your removal a lot easier, and it's also not gonna damage your main printing material if you're using a single material, okay? So one issue I encountered with P1S and slightly frustrated is on some intricate parts that needs extensive support. Those supports, if you don't do your settings properly, it's gonna stuck onto your design and it's gonna ruin your design. So that 15 to 10% of the difference is going to be that 8 times cost. And again, the decision is for you to evaluate whether you want to spend that much money to get the difference, to get that little extra mileage that you may require. Now, granted, you don't need a dual head printer to print dual material. You could have an AMS machine and just feed 2 different materials in there. It's going to increase the time and it's going to increase the material waste. So you could do that on P1S, but just not as efficiently. What you can also do to fix that dual material issue is you could really nail down your support settings. So you could use one material for your support, but if your setting is spot on, if you're really good at adjusting your support settings, you don't need 2 materials. Your single support is gonna print a support beautifully, and you should be able to very easily remove it on your finished product. And now, none of those apply to me. I am a beginner, 3 days of experience, and I think this will definitely enhance my experience in terms of using different materials for support. I am just going to turn on the power. And, oh, of course, turn on the main power here. Now, this little pin, it comes with the package. If you lose this, it will not power up. So make sure this little pin, safety pin, is connected. And then let's turn on the power for the first time. And this LCD screen, again, huge improvement compared to the P1S. Okay, I'm gonna try to show you guys. And the lighting in here, wow. Oh, and it's even got sound. That's pretty cool. Maybe the sound is from AMS. All the lights starts to flash. And again, your classic Bambu setup page. So I'm just gonna go next, set it up. And it's gonna try to find the Wi-Fi network. So again, I don't have to show you guys this step. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the setup, have the machine run itself. Also, what's cool, look at that LED. That's a status indicator right there. So this machine is definitely fancy, and again, much better built than the P1S, which already is well built. Okay, so this is my P1S. I have the light turned off, but yeah, compared to the H2D, the P1S seems to be quite small now, looking at the physical size. And of course, this little tiny LED screen. Okay, so I mean, it works. Printing area, again, for your projects, more than enough, unless you need to print something that's really, really big. So I am going to finish the setup process. I'm going to dry my reels before I come back and print something for you guys and give you my final opinion as a first-time 3D printer owner. All right, again, look at the default lighting. This is definitely a lot brighter than the P1S, and I don't need any kind of upgrade for it. And again, as I mentioned, once this is up, take the foam out, as those supporting material can be taken out. It is quieter. It is quieter even with the panel open compared to the P1S for sure. The P1S is slightly louder, okay, once it's operating, but this one, even with the cover open, it's quiet. And with the cover closed, even quieter. So this is nice. Now the screen is a lot more useful. It tells you exactly what it's doing and explain what is being done, give you an estimate on what is left. I like this screen quite a lot. I don't have any filaments in there. Again, this is the initial calibration. It says it's gonna take about half an hour to 45 minutes, I think. So we're gonna let it run and we're gonna come back and continue with the setup. All right, so it is still working its magic. Right now we're at vibration damping reduction stage, phase 2, auto bed leveling. The cool thing about this is the status indicator is also shown here. So this LED indicates the current stage of the printing. So you don't have to, like, if you're like really from far away, you can see this little LED strip, you don't have to go close and say, oh, it's at 67%. But this is just a nice visual indication, okay, during the process. And again, in terms of noise level, this machine is definitely, the H2D is definitely quieter than the P1S that I bought 3 days ago. Very, very quiet. And I forgot to mention the advantage, of course, with this is the automatic vents. Depending on the materials that are used, this vent is going to close, open, and close. And there's also a vent in the back that's going to open and close right there. Okay, so really cool. In terms of the waste churn area, I need to get a basket down here and hopefully catch anything that's being thrown here. All right, guys, so it's been almost 8 hours. The AMS H2 Pro is doing its job. I think everything's dried, so let's physically take a look. Okay. Humidity, 19%. It started out at over 60%. Now it's 19, which is acceptable. Again, I live in Miami, hot and humid. Even in my house with AC controlled temperature, the humidity is usually hovering around 30 to 40 and sometimes 50%. Okay, so for it to be able to maintain it at such a low humidity is really great for those materials that's going to be printed. On the left is PETG plus white, PETG black, PETG plus black, and PLA red color. I'm gonna take the PLA out since it's already being dried. I'm gonna hook it up to the left printer jet, just gonna use this for support. For the inside, I'm gonna manually configure the white color and the black color and select PETG generic profile. And we're gonna actually print out two materials that I need to print out using PETG. One is the carbon filter for my P1S right there. Second is some more desiccant holders for the AMS H2 Pro, as well as maybe more desiccant holders for other purpose, and also a charcoal, how do you call it? Chargeable or changeable charcoal filter for the new H2D as well. So that's what I'm going to print probably as the first couple projects. And again, I'm going to be mostly just using default settings. The only thing I'm going to change if it involves bridging is to slow down the print speed on the bridge, as well as increase the flow rate, the bridge, I think the bridge flow rate, yeah, to slightly higher. Because it's known on those Bambu printers, if you don't change those, the bridging doesn't look pretty, okay? So, and again, the box is sealed nicely and it's still warm, okay? So it's keeping the temperature at 55. There are 3 minutes left from the 8 hours that I set it out to dehydrate, pretty much. So I'm ready to take things out and start my first print. And again, the machine being fully automatic, I really don't have to do much. There are two things that are, okay, one thing different is this machine has a lot of AI automatic detection mode compared to the P1S, which is just manually, you look at the camera and figure out what's going on. But this thing, it's got a whole bunch of sensors. So in terms of error detection, it's a lot more robust. But do I really need that? I'm not sure yet. What is also great is, what I want to say, yeah, the dual material support. So using two different materials for support and printing is really helpful in separating them easily and not leaving such a nasty looking scar. And that thing H2D can do gracefully because of the two print head. And it does not waste any material when it uses dual material for support. Okay, that's the beauty of this. I'm really conscious about recycling. So every stuff that I'm gonna print, PETG materials and PLA materials, I'm gonna separate them out and ship them out for recycling. Eventually, my long-term goal is to have my own recycling capability by buying some sort of shredder and also some sort of plastic churner to get those PLA materials really into granular material and then extrude my own recycled string. That's my long-term goal. Not there yet, but I do keep every material for recycling. Okay, so again, H2D is going to help me achieve minimal amount of waste possible, right? Other things I want to say, yes, another thing that is probably a big improvement for the H2D and also for the newly released P2S that is missing on the P1S is cooling and heating, automatic cooling and heating. Remember I told you about the fan right here? When it starts to cool, this air inlet opens up, cold air gets sucked in, and the air gets filtered and then pushed out from this chamber, which also opens automatically when it's doing the cooling. When it's heating, everything is closed and it circulates the air inside to heat the chamber actively up for more advanced materials such as ABS and other fancy material that most likely I'm not going to be printing in the near future. So just so you know, if you do engineering materials, yes, H2D is going to have a very nice ability to print those with heated chamber. Did a nice job, kept the humidity down to 19%, which is great. Now we can start printing pretty much, and it's cooling. So I'm gonna go back and just, it's already properly dried and I took it out from an already dried environment. So it should be okay. The fan stopped, so the noise level went down a little bit more. Interestingly, humidity went up immediately just because how humid Florida is. And all right, so I pretty much finished with setting up the AMS. I putting the white color on the left, black color on the right side. Put the lead wires in there. It automatically detected there are wires, and I did manual configuration for those generic PETG materials. And I am going back to my computer, okay, trying to get a print started. First is going to be the activated carbon replaceable or refillable filter for both of those printers. And then I'll probably print some PETG materials for those paper rolls so they can be better adapted for the AMS system use. Okay. So another cool thing that I'm trying to show you guys is the flow dynamics calibration on the H2D is fully automatic. Okay, a time saver, of course, compared to the P1S, which is only manual adjustment. But for the flow rate, okay, it's still manual. There is no automatic adjustment for flow rate, so we'll have to print some plates and figure it out. But this is time saving. Okay, so I can look at my device. I can turn on the live view, and the camera is improved so much compared to the P1S. So now it is showing at least 30 frames per second. And on the P1S, okay, it is very, very slow, maybe 2 frames to 1 frames per second, depending on the lighting condition. So it determines the shutter speed. But for this, I have 3 filaments, so it's gonna do each of those filaments one at a time, and we're gonna try to figure out, the machine is gonna try to figure out the best flow rate for those, and most likely we're probably not going to be changing those for a while till they run out. So I washed the plate, so the plate is clean, ready to go. And check it out, additional LED light over there, pretty cool. Again, not on the P1S, but it is there on the H2D. So we're gonna have this run for about 20 minutes to finish the flow calibration, and then we'll do the flow rate calibration, and then we will start the print, because I really want those prints to come out as perfect as it can. So let's let the machine do the magic first. So the machine finished self-calibration. It told me it's pretty much ready to go. Again, the whole auto calibration process is much simpler than the unboxing itself, which made me more confident that this machine is going to deliver fantastic results later on after everything's done. Now, to the AMS 2 Pro, okay? I loaded my PETG plus filament, and again, those are not Bambu filaments because I'm still waiting on the Bambu's shipment. 2 PETG plus and 1 PLA, and I'm just doing a test run for the drying process. You control everything on the LCD screen here. There's no controls on AMS 2 Pro itself, so everything's controlled right here. I set the option to PLA, and I set the drying temperature to 55 degrees Celsius for 8 hours. Current humidity, since we just started drying 1 minute ago, is 45. We're gonna come back and check on the humidity once the drying process is done. And that's probably when I could print some PETG materials for the very first time using H2D and show you guys how it's gonna work with a PLA as a support for PETG. Hopefully it's doable. I don't know, I haven't researched, but I'm thinking it is doable, all right? PETG printing with PLA support. Let's do it in about 8 hours time once this is finished. Now, also interestingly, once I opened up the Bambu Handy app, it told me there are firmware options available for both the H2D and the AMS 2 Pro. And I'm gonna go ahead and finish the upgrade process. So just finished with printing the flow calibration for one of the reel over here. And this is a fine print result. Again, doesn't look bad. Again, to be expected. Gonna do 2 more for the PETG white, PETG black, and then I should be ready to actually print my first project. And I've decided it absolutely needs to be a adapter for the inland spools because they were slipping pretty bad in the AMS system. Okay. So this is already the 3rd print, official print on the H2D. This one is almost done. So the first 2 is for the paper spools for the inland filament, and it's printing on the inland PETG plus material. A little bit of strain here and there, and again, that's probably because I didn't configure the temperature for the inland spools, inland filaments properly. And I really need to do that after I finish printing the most urgently needed stuff, which is a spool, paper spool adapter. Because without that, my spools were rolling inside, jumping around like freaking crazy. So again, H2D put itself to work rather efficiently and no issues at all. Okay. And again, this is the 2nd morning now. Look at that. Now it is rolling quite a lot nicer. Before, the string was jumping around, and again, as I said, it was jumping around like crazy. With that adapter, it's gonna solve that issue. I'm gonna wait for the plate to cool down a little bit because right now it is pretty hot. And I'm gonna actually come back here and print again, and you can see how easy it is to print again. I'm gonna go to advanced options, turn off everything, because again, literally it's the same print. If I just hit next, it's gonna start. And so that's how you put your printer to work, right? So unboxing the H2D, and I was able to use it on the same day. That is after the drying of the filaments, all the filaments that I have in the AMS unit. Let's check on the AMS. So I did open it a couple times, and the humidity went up from 20 to 29%. Again, after I finish printing this, the last one, I am going to dry it 1 more time. And So guys, this is the end of the video for my experience owning and unboxing my H2D printer from Bambu Labs. And as you can see, right now I have both my P1S and H2D in full working order. What I really want to conclude for this video is whether you should buy the H2D as a complete beginner right into 3D printing. Maybe you did some research, you look at all the reviews of all different printers, and you haven't touched a physical 3D printer yet. Should you buy the H2D? And my honest opinion is no. After using the P1S for 3 days, and then subsequently getting the H2D, which is what I originally ordered as a complete beginner, I feel like I might have bite in too much of what I cannot finish. I don't know if I said it correctly, but you got what I meant. It is just way too much of a machine for a beginner, because for me personally, I think what the most important thing is for a beginner is really to nail down your techniques. It's not really about getting the best machine, the largest printing area machine possible with the fanciest technology, or almost fanciest technology with dual head printing. Yeah, it was very catchy. I watched a lot of video reviews before I bought it. And I must say, I'm glad I went into Micro Center and I bought the P1S, because I personally enjoy using P1S a lot more. It gives me much less frustration in terms of diagnosing the issues, in terms of fine-tuning stuff, as opposed to H2D, which actually had me puzzled for a while, especially using generic printing materials. Now, as I said earlier in the video, the H2D came without all the accessories, which I literally just got today, after a day of waiting. The AMS HT, I haven't even tried to use. Apparently, it dries a single spool for a much higher temperature, so good for engineering materials. Now, again, for a beginner, if you're just starting out, PLA and PETG are probably your best friends. They are very easy to print, even for a beginner like me, okay? Just a few settings tweak, you can get very consistent results, even printing large items, complex items, okay? And fun items, most of those are actually printed on the P1S. I only used the H2D to test the PETG printing capability. Now, granted, I realized that the P1S probably is going to print PETG materials better or just as good as the H2D, which I did not know, or I didn't realize without prior knowledge of actually printing 3D stuff, okay? So it's definitely an overkill for me at this stage. I spend 6 times more getting a product that at current stage is overkill, which starts to depreciate from day one. If I cannot generate any revenues with the H2D, that is definitely gonna be a write-up for a loss if you have a business, right? For me, I can definitely see the value of H2D in the long run. And again, as I said, right now I'm experimenting, I'm printing a lot of materials. PETG, by the way, this one is printed on the H2D. Quite nice. Okay, so this is actually printed on H2D, but it's actually a PETG material for higher temperature printing. That's a carbon-activated carbon replacement, refillable replacement filter for the P1S. And I also printed a additional carbon filter for the H2D, because guess what? H2D is not very good with fumes and VOC filtration if you're printing basic level materials. That is your PEG and PETG materials. When you print those two, the active cooling opens up the top fan and vents out from, it directly vents out without going through the carbon filter, okay? So it's only reserving the carbon filter for more toxic material. And again, I need to fix that, so I printed a activated carbon refillable box container. I'm going to show you guys in a little bit. Here is the refillable active carbon filter that I printed. I just downloaded one of those models from the Maker Word, and I was able to print it on the HTD very nicely. Granted, you can absolutely print this on the P1S as well. So, because this size is more than what the P1S can handle. And also notice there are still some small areas that it kind of misprinted. So those kind of mishaps, I still need to get them sorted out. But yeah, that's why I said on the P1S it's easier to figure out the issues, and on the P2S I'm kind of having trouble, especially with PETG materials. Okay, so we can continue with the video. To put in the empty space where it's venting out directly without the filter. And I think that will solve the VOC issue. And if you couldn't see, I have a HEPA filter running 24/7 in this room, just to make sure there are no any weird smells and all the filtration is as good as it can be, because I actually also use this room as my office, as you can see right here. All right. So as a total beginner, just don't buy the H2D, okay? Just go out, buy a P1S on sale. You don't even need multicolor AMS. Like literally a single color, you're gonna have a lot of fun, and you're actually going to learn quite a lot more in terms of dialing in on the Bambu Studio settings for different materials. And that's what P1S is gonna get you. And even for the A1 series, which is a non-enclosured unit that just does the exact same thing, you will improve your skill dramatically. And when you are ready, spend 6 times more, get an H2D, and probably by that time, the H2D is gonna be on sale for much cheaper. H2C is gonna come out with, you know, interchangeable 2 heads up to 7 and all those fancy stuff. And you will be ready, okay? Now I know this is very counterintuitive. I'm unboxing a H2D and at the end telling you that it is not a good beginner's printer. I am speaking the honest truth, okay? P1S, I enjoy using it a lot as a beginner. I print on it more as a beginner. It handles both the material that I need to print, PEG and PETG, seamlessly, effortlessly. Okay, the only plus for the H2D that I can see for my personal use at this stage is eventually, as I advance in my skills, to do dual material printing using PEG, PLA and PETG. So for easier support removal, and that's one huge benefit with H2D with a dual print head. Another huge benefit, which you can probably get from other manufacturers for quite a lot cheaper, is larger printing areas. That, if you only like Bambu, H2D or H2S will get you that. If you don't do dual material printing, H2S is going to get you that additional printing area, and it's actually going to be more than the HD can provide you with the printing area, 325 by 325 by 325. H2D, you have a very limited area of around 300, between 300 to 325, or like sometimes 200 something, 295 maybe. Because of the dual head design, it cannot use the 2 spaces on the outside. Quite frustrating if you do need that additional space. So also keep that in mind. And again, this is the conclusion. The H2D actually works fantastic. I was able to dial in the PETG after a few trial and errors. Right now, it doesn't do any, weird stringing issues. It prints perfectly fine. It bridges perfectly fine for PETG material, okay? The PLA, I think I have kind of already dialed it in for the P1S, so I don't really have any needs to use the H2D to print any PLA material, okay? But PETG, larger area, and more advanced material, ABS or other high temperature materials, you can definitely utilize that heated chamber and the heating function of the H2D together with the AMS 2 Pro, or if you need even higher engineering materials, AMS HT, to achieve those engineering material, high-tech printing material needs on the H2D a lot easier than on the P1S, okay? That's the conclusion. And again, it's kind of sad that I was not able to test actual bamboo printing materials and even the AMS HT on the printer that I ordered it with. And regardless, I'm just gonna open it up and give you guys a quick look and hopefully make this review complete to show you guys what the AMS HT high temperature looks like. Okay, it's super light plastic with a heating element inside and a fan. Automatically rotates itself if you don't have any filaments connected. Those are the basic functions, and it also heats up to 85 degrees Celsius. Okay, got an instructional manual, got some freebie silicone gels that you can put in there. I'm probably gonna print a silicone gel holder to put in more silicone gels. Okay, and you have a adapter and a 6-pin connector. Okay, so with that said, it's a 6-pin connector, so I don't know if it can be used for the P1S because the P1S has a 4-pin. I have to find out, okay? But you connect this to the back of the printer, you connect the power supply. It's about 200 watts, and it's nice because it's got a front display that shows you humidity, and temperature, and all those kind of settings. And it works exceptionally well, and only exceptionally well with Bambu products. You can't use this anywhere else because the control is done through the control panel. So that's kind of limiting, right? So that's one thing I don't really like about AMS HT, is it's limited to Bambu products only. Now, off topic, I also ordered a Creality, I think it's called Space Pi X4, which is a 4-slot spool filament heater that was able to heat 2 different spools at 2 different temperatures, which is quite cool. Now, my plan is actually use the Creality on the single spool printing machine, which is the P1S. And I'm gonna be putting the AMS HT over there for printing PETG materials, maybe 2 PETG materials at the same time using the dual head. And that was my original plan. So if you're interested in seeing how things are set up, definitely subscribe to my channel. And eventually I will have those videos out sharing my experience and my thoughts on third-party filament heaters working together with Bambu printers, okay? And again, the AMS 2 is nice with its automatic material feeding, loading, unloading, but I'm just not impressed with the fact that it doesn't heat up to a higher temperature, and also the control of the AMS 2 Pro is entirely through the printer interface, which is kind of frustrating. Like, I would love to have the ability to do things directly on the machine and also have it work for other brands and manufacturers' printers. Eventually, maybe I'll try something else, but Bambu is what I picked as the first starting out, and I think I made the right choice, okay? And same for AMS. You can't use it without the printers, period. All right, so that's it, guys. That's all I want to say. Both printers, exceptionally reliable. I know this is a H2D unboxing. And honestly, if you're a beginner, just don't buy the H2D. Just get a P1S or maybe the new P2S when it comes available. Hopefully, when you see this video, it is available and you will be able to get it. It is bringing the H2D technology
in line with P1S. For me, it translates to icing on the cakes because P1S is already an exceptional printer. And the price of it, when I bought it as a used referred model for $339, is double icing on the cake. All right, so thanks again, guys, for watching my unboxing. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, thumbs up and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. Take care.